everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Monica. Monica Tate-Alleyne. I have with me this evening A.S. Brooks, the owner of Brooks Books. We will be discussing finding peace. Please tell me and tell us about finding peace.
Oh, Finding Peace is a very interesting story.
Yes, it is.
It's about a lady that most of us will be able to relate to. She's gone through a string of losses. She's suffering with depression and anxiety.
That is real.
And she's considering suicide. She don't see her value in life.
Gosh.
And she's just overwrought.
My goodness.
And in the midst of it, something interesting happens to her. She begins to feel a presence with her, but she can't see it, but she can feel it. And there comes a point of time in which that presence shows himself to her and have a discussion with her about who she was, who she is, and about her faith in God. And in fact, he takes her to heaven. He says he's on a special assignment, that he's answering her prayers.
Wow.
And she's trying to figure out what prayer.
Wow.
But he takes her to heaven. There in heaven, something most peculiar happened. The trial of man is taking place. The devil is before God and his council, seeking the judgment of man. Seeking the judgment of man, of all humanity.
Wow.
And he's raising various issues, like the first gift that God gave man, which was the gift of a family, and how the fatherless home is affected.
Wow.
Then it talks about mass destruction. It talks about racism and how we treat one another.
Goodness.
You know, remember the Bible says that we should love our neighbor as ourselves.
Yes, indeed.
And he's pointing out all the various reasons why men should be judged now.
Wow.
And in fact, it even considers whether we're in the tribulation times or the end of day times, because it talks about the earthquakes and the forest fires and all these things that's happening that's beyond our control, that's happening right now. Then she witnesses something beautiful. She witnesses the love march and the love principle. But the big thing is whether there's a calling on her life and what is that calling. And while she's in heaven, she also meets people just like herself, people who went through difficult times, but they believe in God, but they've had bad things happen to them.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Wow. And so this book is probably the first of several yet to come that talks about her calling and what is her purpose. And the reason why the book is called Finding Peace is because she has to come to accept her circumstances before she can change her circumstances. And that's why the Finding Peace is so important.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I would like to ask a few questions,
Okay.
if I may.
Not a problem.
I thank you. I have a few questions written down here. But tell me this, if you will, in reference to the presence. And I'm sure the audience and those that will purchase your book, they would want to know more about that presence. What is it that you can tell us about the presence that was following her?
The presence turns out to be an angel. We think of it as maybe the guardian angel. If you ever seen The Wonderful Life, but each of us is given one. We're given an angel.
Yes,
And
I agree with that.
it's an angel that is sent to follow her, knows all about her, knows all about her life.
Excellent, excellent. Very good. And tell me this, or tell us this, if you will. What about the devil? What about the enemy in reference to the different schemes and the everyday life occurrences, the hurricanes, the you didn't say discrimination, but the plight that we as citizens of this world are experiencing every day?
Well, what we're seeing is quite different than what we were meant to have. So if we think back in the book of Genesis, we're meant to be in the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
We're meant to be
so true.
We're meant to be frolicking around naked as jaybirds and having a good old time.
Yes.
In the Garden of Eden.
So true.
But we see that from the very beginning, whether it was doubt or temptation or what it was, that we're taking further away from what it was that we were given. And so what we see here in the trial of man, we see something that happens in the book of Job, where the devil goes before God and said, well, let me test him out.
Yes.
Let me see if he cursed you.
Amazing.
Right? And so what we're seeing in the book is very similar to what we see in the book of Job. We see the devil goes before God in his counsel and seek his permission to judge, to be the executioner of God's judgment per se. But that wasn't his role.
Oh, thank God for that. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Wow.
That's heavy.
Yes.
And in fact, when he's before the council asks him different questions, because a lot of what has happened to man is because of him. We're in the shape that we're in because of his doing.
Come on now.
So he should have a role in the judgment, right? And so the Bible is clear. The book of Revelations tells us what happened at the end of times.
Excellent, excellent. So, if you will, tell us what made you, the author, the person that wrote this novel, decide to discuss heaven, the devil, and I don't know if you made reference already to suicide, but common plights that we all have experienced in various ways. What made you decide to do this? And also, what would you like the audience, as well as those that will read the book, to obtain? What are some takeaways, if you are able to elaborate without getting into the total book, because it is imperative that you all support this woman.
Okay, so I think the first question you asked me is, why did I write about heaven?
Yes.
Well, I was going through a difficult time myself, and I felt like I had an experience, and this book was something that was almost as if I was watching a television show. So it wasn't really a book.
Wow.
It was as if I was trying to type to keep up with the story that I was seeing. So it was as if I was being told a story and I was trying to type it as fast as I could.
Wow.
To make sure that I memorized it, make sure that it was there, make sure I had it written, and make sure I was able to tell the story.
Amazing.
Why heaven? I don't know. I don't know why heaven, but I can tell you that the image was just as clear as day. And what heaven might look like. So the image was fed to me. So I felt like it wasn't something that I was just answering or writing, but something that was being told to me. And I remember calling my aunt up and saying, hey, she was kicked out of heaven, and this happened, and that happened, and as if it was really happened.
My gosh, that's awesome.
But it didn't really happen.
Yes.
But it was as if I was witnessing it myself, and I was just writing the story that was told me.
Wow. How awesome. Now, I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced anything like that. I have not. So in other words, it's almost like the Lord is just allowing you to be a messenger, to be his messenger. So, in other words, ladies, gentlemen, children, finding peace, this is a book that I believe wholeheartedly that you will read it, digest it, and get so much.
Well, I want to thank you very much for letting me talk with you about the book Finding Peace. And it is extraordinary in a way that is imaginary, and it takes the reader on a ride that they can relate to. Anybody who had bad things happen, or felt bad, or felt lost, or did not know if God was talking to them, that it kind of talks to, it kind of says things in a way that we might interpret and see. So I think it's really interesting, and I think it comes to a point, just like the book of Habakkuk, where it asks God questions about how did we get here? Why are we here? And doesn't he see our plight? And doesn't he see what's happening? And what is the solution? And the problem is that the book doesn't answer the solution, because I don't know. But it does talk about acceptance. And acceptance is key.
Yes, it is. That's priceless. So can you please tell us this, A.S. Brooks? How can we find out more about you being the author? And it's already been mentioned, you're also the owner of Brooks Books. Can you please tell us more about that?
Absolutely. You can find me on brooksbooks.org, my website, or brooksreads.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel that we're putting a lot of content, different videos out, including Bible trivia.
Bible trivia.
That's
awesome.
And it's a lot of, I think it should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
It should be a lot of fun. Those that gets all the question right are entitled to a trophy, so they need to go out and give themselves a trophy. But and we're going to be putting podcasts out slowly but surely, and we're going to be putting different things out little by little. So we're hoping to kind of build from where we are.
Excellent. So tell me this: what can we do to help support you being the visionary of Brooks Books?
First, like the Jabez prayer says, to please God, have your hand on me and expand me, enlarge what I have. And in the book of, in that prayer of Jabez is what I can ask you for. Is for prayer and to buy the book and support me and write comments. Let me know what you're interested in. Let me know about the various characters. Did you like one character over the next?
Yes.
Why? What was the story about the character that you found interesting?
Excellent.
Communicate with us, and if you need our services, don't hesitate to contact us. Again, you can reach me at brooksbooks.org. My email is info@brooksbooks.org. Facebook is Brooks Books Inc. Instagram is Brooks lowercase. Brooks Books Inc. is where you can get us on Instagram as well. And if you need any help, we're here for you.
Excellent. I would like for you to elaborate. What other services do you provide? We know that you are the proud owner of Brooks Books. What other services, please let them know, that you actually offer?
All right. You're going to probably notice in a lot of the videos, you'll hear my voice on a lot of the videos. So first thing we do, voiceovers. But if you don't mind, I'd like to really tell you how Brooks Books got started.
Yes.
I started writing, and I started contacting various publishers and editors and literary agents. as it were. And I got all different types of responses. Some no responses, some, oh yes, some it's going to cost you this amount, it's going to cost you that amount. And it was just so much to digest. And I was really disappointed in how I was treated, especially as a Christian author. So I was really surprised and disappointed. So that's why I started Brooke's Books.
Excellent.
So Brooke's Books, I wanted to be able to help people, to consult with them if they need consultation, if they needed direction on how to get their own ISBN numbers, or how they want to, if they want to get their own copyright, if they want to go to the Library of Congress and make sure they have a number there, how would they do that? If they needed voiceover work, if they need somebody to do ghostwriting, meaning write with them. So we offer different types of editorial services, and then we also do websites, like the websites that you're going to see at brooksbooks.org. We help design the websites, help design and lay out books. And so, although we may not do everything, we have something that definitely that can help you.
Excellent. Hey, to me, it sounds like Brooke's Books is a one-stop from the beginning to the ending of the book industry and more. What do you think?
Well, we might not be quite exactly a one-stop shopping, but I'm hoping one day we'll get there.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I would simply like to say, first of all, A.S. Brooks, I thank you very much for spending time with us this evening. It has been awesome. And I would like to just speak blessings over your life and over brooksbooks.com. And we're going to thank God in advance for finding peace. And again, everyone, near, far, all over the world, let's make this a best-selling book. Thank you all for your time. Have a great day, and God bless you all.
Thank you.